Is captaincy tiring mentally? Is it tiring because you're constantly thinking all the time, especially if you're on the field? I can understand if you're batting number 3, you've been out, there's a partnership going on, you can sort of relax a little bit. But if you're on the field a whole day and you're constantly thinking, is backward point a little too fine? Should I get a short leg in? You must be tired at the end of the day.
I think if you've had 6 hours in the field as a captain and you're not mentally whacked at the end of that, then I don't think you've done your job properly.
How can you then remain a leader off the field? Because you talked about being captain on the field and a leader off the field. If you're an exhausted captain at the end of the day, can you still be a good leader off the field? Because your mind still has got to be working.
One of the great relaxants in the world is
not what you're drinking at the moment.
It's not what I'm drinking at the moment, yeah. And I mean, I've always said that it took me about 2 hours to get out. You know, my creams would come off pretty well straight away as soon as I got in the dressing room. Shirt on, towel around me, and I'd sit there and I'd have a couple of beers and you'd just that was my coming down, unwinding and just relaxing and talking. And I mean, half the time, or probably even greater, you're talking rubbish, you know, but in amongst all that, you talk some sense as well. And you know, so that was where I used to enjoy, I used to love that time.
Can this be taught? The ability to unwind, or is it just part of the natural ingredient of a leader? Can a Michael Clarke look at what a Ricky Ponting does and say, okay, when I become captain, I'll learn to unwind like that?
Well, I mean, I was fortunate that I was a drinker. You know, a guy like Bill Lawry, if Bill was batting at stumps, he would be off the field, change his pads, in the shower. He would be gone. If stumps were 6 o'clock, Bill would be gone from the ground at absolute latest by 6:15. And, you know, that wasn't Bill's idea of sitting around the dressing room. No, he wouldn't do that. What I did when I got the news that I was going to be captain, I sat down and I went through all the things. You know, I'd played under 3 captains. 1 for South Australia, Les Favell, and 2 for Australia, Bob Simpson and Bill Lawry, chronologically. So I went through all the things that I liked about their captaincy and the things that I didn't like. And I tried to not do the things that I didn't like. I tried to incorporate the things that I liked, and then, you know, imprint my personality on the game. So to answer your question, I don't think it would be wise of Michael Clarke to look at Ricky Ponting and say, that's the way he unwinds, I'm going to do the same. He's got to unwind his own way, but that's not to say that you can't learn things from the, you know, as I did. I mean, I learned a hell of a lot about captaincy from Bill Lawry, for instance. I thought Bill was a damn good captain. Certainly in Sheffield Shield cricket, the hardest runs that I made were against Victoria. I learned a lot about field placings from Bill.
You put a lot of store on mateship. You often talk about drinking together. What if someone isn't built like that? Because a lot of your stories come around understanding people by sitting and having a drink with them. And understanding people, I guess, is at the heart of good captaincy.
Good leadership.
Good leadership, because off the field you don't drink on the field. No. On the field, what you drink is what you were just drinking in there.
Yeah. I think.
What if someone is not like that?
Well, all I said to the teams that I captained was, I want you to stay for an hour after play. I don't care what you drink. You can drink whatever you like. That's, you know, you can't tell a guy. You know, I mean, if the guy's a non-drinker, you can't say you got to sit and drink a beer. I mean, you've lost the guy straight away. But all I asked for was that they would hang around for an hour. Now, I didn't say they had to go into the opposition dressing room when it was time for Australia to go into their dressing room. But, you know, if you go in as a captain, you're sort of giving them a fairly gentle, more than a gentle hint that it would be nice if they came in as well. The same as, you know, I always felt that I never had any curfews, and I've always said to people, you know, they'd say about curfews, and I say, why do I need a curfew when you've got selectors? But I used to figure that, as you know, I'm captain of Australia, I'm in the bar drinking, and if at 11 o'clock, you know, I put my beer down on the bar and say, see you later guys, I'm going, that's also a fair hint that, you know, if it's time for me to go to bed, it's probably about time for them. Now, I didn't put Doug Walters, I didn't expect that Doug was going to be...
He's given us smoking though.
Yes, he has, yeah. But I didn't expect that he was going to be the next guy out of the bar following me, but I expected that he might be banging on my door at about 5 to 3, wanting a chat.
Modern captains, I know the game's evolving. Do you need to be a different kind of captain in T20, different in ODIs? It's really the same thing. do you think the modern captain's got his hands full?
Oh yeah, I think it's certainly tougher as a captain now because you've got the different varieties of the game, and I think there's more, there's more involvement. Certainly, the media, plays a much greater or a bigger role in the game than it did when I was captain. But what I would say to any captain is, I mean, one of the things that I think is a bit of a problem with the modern captain is I think they place too high a priority on saving boundaries. My order of priority is wickets up there, way up there, right at the top by miles, saving singles next, quite a distance down, and then way down here, saving boundaries. That's one thing I'd say to them. And the other thing is, captaincy is captaincy. And what I'd say about with all the other jobs that a captain is required to do nowadays, the one thing I would say to if I was advising any young captain is never delegate anything that is going to impinge on winning or losing the game. I mean, you can delegate all you like, but if it's going to have an effect on you winning and losing the game, don't delegate that. You be in charge of that.
When's your book on captaincy coming out?
No,
You owe it to the game.
Hey?
You owe it to the game.
No,
The game's given you a lot.
No, well, sure, the game's given me a lot. Although when you see, I remember somebody from my club, Glenelg, when I was younger, when I was still playing, obviously, said something about I owed it to Glenelg, and my answer to that was, what? So you mean Glenelg picked me when I really wasn't good enough to get in that team? Which is rubbish. I mean, the only reason Glenelg picked me was because I was good enough to get in the team. So, yeah, I mean, I'm quite aware of my responsibility to the game of cricket, and I've gained a lot of things from the game of cricket. But writing a book on captaincy, it'd be about 2 pages.